Hello. So, following a post on Reddit, there's been lots of interest in my Alpine top cup thingy. So, I thought because the Pride month has already started. I didn't even realize it was June already. I thought I would make this tutorial just to show how to do it because, it's a cool pattern and I would love to see people enjoy it. So yeah, what you're gonna need is you're gonna need a hook. In my case it's a 5mm hook. You're gonna need some scissors and a tapestry needle, which I'm not gonna show. You are of course going to need your yarn. I've got 6 colors over here, which are all from Drops Paris, so it's quite affordable. I've got, I don't know what shades they are because Drops Paris kindly doesn't write it on their labels. But yeah, this is color 12, it's red. And then we've got an orange, which is color 13, and then yellow, color 14, and then a green, color 39, and then color 10 for blue, and color 9 for purplish blue. So I'm using 6 colors, but if you would like to make a bigger cup, which just for reference I'm a C cup. If you want to make it a bigger, you should either use more colors, which I mean rainbow goes up to 7, or alternatively, if you need it bigger than that, possibly use only 4 colors and then do 4 rows for each color. Hopefully that gets my hopefully you get my point. Hopefully you get what I'm trying to say here. But yeah, in my case I'm using 6 colors. They are Aran weight, so they will work up pretty quickly. And yeah, but before I start, I wanted to also show a couple of other test runs which I've made last year when developing this pattern. I've got one here, which made some mistakes. Could have used a smaller hook, but this is generally smaller. Well, this is a smaller yarn, which, I mean, yeah, it works out really nicely. And I've done like a little triangle detail on the bottom, which is pretty cool. And then I also have another one, which was one of the first attempts. And then this one also, this one's a warm top. I find it great for winter time nights out, so it keeps you warm, rather than summertime. But yeah, so I've done like a little, what stitch is this? I think this is shell stitch for the most part, with arcade stitch on the bottom. So, I am only giving, this is why I only want to give the cup pattern, because for the band really the possibilities are endless for what you can do, and I would love to see everyone let their creativity run free. But yeah, in this case I think this is probably the best design I've ever done. This is just absolutely spectacular, if I do say so myself. And well, I mean, this band is made from smaller yarn just because that's what I had on hand and I wanted to use it. And I do think it actually quite complements it. But of course, feel free to use whatever yarn either you have or you want to use. As a bonus, I could show how to make the clouds. I guess, yeah, why not? All in one video. I'm gonna need another ball of yarn for that. And for the clouds, you're also gonna need some pure white, color 16 yarn. Okay, so I also have my written instructions in front of me. I will post the link in the description to my written pattern for this. It will only be in Aran weight, but this is a pattern which can easily be adjusted for different yarn weights, as already seen with the other two tops that I showed, and I'm intending to make one using quite thin yarn, which is Drops Loves You 7. So yeah, I'm going to make a finer textured cups as well at some point. But yeah, so let's get started. So firstly, with your 5mm hook, what you want to do is, with your blue yarn, make a slip knot and chain 12. So 1, 2. You might want to make them a bit looser so that you can get into them easier, and they maintain their stretch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so then what you want to do is you want to yarn over and you want to do 10 double crochets. I do mine in the back purl of the chain, just because I'm going to be using this as a row as well. So then it gives you these things that look like stitches to go into, and also, you know, if you've left them a little bit loose, then that's also going to facilitate doing that. Yeah, so 10 double crochets starting with the third chain from the hook. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then there's the chain 2 at the end as well. Okay, so then the following row, you want to single crochet 10, then you want to, so first you chain 1, and then you single crochet 10, then single crochet 2 in the end, and then single crochet 10 again, and yeah, then we're gonna change color for the first time. I'm currently crocheting into the base chain, which is not as stretchy as the normal stitches. So yeah, this is, if you've left them a little bit loose, you're gonna have a bit of a less struggle than you would if you didn't leave them loose. But they are still, even though I did leave them a little bit looser than I would if I was crocheting comfortably, they are still a little bit tricky to get into, and I don't normally tend to just hook in there in the opposite direction and then just kind of go a bit, instead of poking through, just kind of hook into and loop around. So yeah, that method usually works for me pretty well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, this one's an extra tight one. 9, and then 10. Oh, 10. Okay, what you want to do here actually is, instead of finishing the 10th one with the blue yarn, you want to do half the stitch, and then, well, you can cut it off now because we're done with this color now. Blue can go. So the next blue comes in, and we finish this stitch with this new color now. Let's tighten it up there a little bit, and we chain 2. 1, 2. So this is where the Alpine stitch begins. So, you know, this is where the exciting bit starts. So I start with double crocheting, doing a double crochet in the first stitch, and then I do an extended double crochet around, I think, I would do it around this post, right? So the first post that is at the edge, I'm gonna go around it and then pull up, do it how you would normally do a double crochet, except you extend this a little bit and then just continue on like you would normally, and that is an extended double crochet. So then, did I do it right? Well, I'll find out in a second. But yeah, then at the back you skip one, because that is accounting for the extended double crochet, or EDC as I call them. So you go into the next one, and then do a normal double crochet, and then again an extended double crochet into, so not the next post from the purplish blue, but in the one after that. So you leave one as in between them. So yeah, there you've got another extended double crochet, and then you do a double crochet and an extended double crochet, and yeah, so this stitch is essentially just double crochet, extended double crochet, and you always have to make sure that you are skipping one at the back, because that's how you keep the correct stitch count. So yeah, extended double crochet, double crochet, and hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this will be the what does it say? Okay, so yeah, so you go around well, that's still a normal post. Okay, so here we have, if you are following the written instructions, you will see that we have completed the first step on row 3, which is double crochet, well, DC, EDC, and then 5 sets of them. So this is the end of the 5th set, and what I do now is I double crochet 3. So I skip 1 as I normally would for the EDC, and then I double crochet 3 in the following stitch. Right. So then what I do next is I start with a EDC, but I go around this post, which is where I've done the 2 single crochets. So it's not really, it's not the most accessible post, but it's there. So yeah, that's the one I go around. I do an EDC, and then I skip one like I normally would and do a double crochet, and I do 5 sets of these. So this is where it's gonna start feeling a bit wrong, in a way that you're no longer doing the EDC into the post directly below. So it just, I don't know, it just feels a bit wrong when you're doing it. But trust me, this is the way it goes, and it will actually come out to be pretty cool in the end. But yeah, so 5 sets of these. So these sets finish with a double crochet because they started with an EDC. So if you look closely, there is still 1 stitch left. What you want to do with that is you want to double crochet into it, and that is the last stitch of the row. So then, yeah, okay, so this is what it looks like. You can start to see that it is beginning to create the variation between the colors. I love this. I love how this stitch works in a way that it makes the colors blend because they overlap, and it just makes the whole rainbow look really, I don't know, just very smoothly blended. Of course, it doesn't have to be a rainbow, it can be any colors and it would do this, or it can be a single color and it just gives a really nice texture. So yeah, I am very proud of this pattern. But yeah, anyway, continuing. So what you do now is you single crochet, well, hold on, you chain 1, not single crochet, and then you single crochet 12, then you single crochet 3 in the single stitch, and then you single crochet 11. So this is where it becomes not so symmetrical anymore, because at first, on the first row, on the second row where we were doing the single crochets, we were single crocheting 10 and then 3 and then 10, or 2 actually, sorry, yeah, 10, 2 and 10. Now we're doing 12, 3 and 11. So yeah, and that's from now on, that's just how it's gonna be. It's just gonna increase in numbers. Okay, so if you followed all the instructions correctly, then you shouldn't have an issue with this step, because everything should be adding up perfectly. So again, we are changing colors, so I'm not going to finish this stitch. I will finish it with the next color. So I'm gonna cut it off here, and that we are done with that color. Next we have green. So yeah, finish this stitch with the next color, and chain 2. 1, 2. Okay. So now we are doing the same as we were 2 rows ago, except we are doing 6 sets, and we are beginning with an EDC instead of a DC, because you see here we've got the chain 2 and we've got a double crochet, which has created the perfect environment for us to create a EDC. So that's what I'm gonna do. This is the beginning of the first set of 6, and so you have to skip once again, even though it's the first stitch. You got to account for you got to count for the stitch that you're skipping. So so the double crochet that I'm gonna make, I'm not gonna make in this stitch, I'm going to make it in this in this next stitch. So this way I'm keeping the correct stitch count. Yeah, and 6 sets of that. So at this stage it's really easy to see which post you're meant to go around, because you're just going around the posts which are in the EDCs. You're going around the double crochets which are in between the EDCs. So, you know, it just kind of, the pattern guides itself, which is nice when that happens. It's nice and intuitive. On this side anyway, on the other side it's a bit distorted. Okay, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so the 6th set is you are going around the first double crochet from the 3 double crochets that you put in a single stitch. So yeah, this is where we're expanding. And to finish the set, you have to double crochet 1. And okay, so this is the first step of this row done. Now you have to again double crochet 3 at the top, so you just go into, we're not skipping any stitches, because, you know, there isn't a EDC that I've just done. So in the next stitch I am going to double crochet 3. Okay, and now the following step is to do 6 sets of EDC1 and DC1. So this time around I am not going to go in the middle double crochet, that stays clear. I'm going to do an EDC in the far left double crochet from the 3 that I did in the previous Alpine stitch row. So yeah, just go around this post and skip 1. So here's 1 and I'm skipping that one, so I'm going into the following one. And yeah, so that's the first set. Again, this is gonna feel even more distorted than the previous time that I said that this is going to feel distorted, and it's just going to get worse, but it looks good. So yeah, this side always is going to feel less intuitive than the first side that we do on each row. So yeah, 6 sets of this. Don't worry if it feels not intuitive, that's how it's meant to be. You're not doing anything wrong. That's just how it is. Again, okay, so this is the end of 6 sets. Again, if you've done everything correctly, you should have 1 stitch left where you should make a double crochet, and with that you have completed the row. And I would like to, at this point, I would like to mention that I would like to explain the anatomy of this a little bit better, so that you can make this to whatever size you want with whatever yarn you want. So on this side, which is where we start this row, it's going to always be alternating beginnings. So one row is going to start with a DC, the other row is going to start with an EDC, while on this side it is always going to finish with a spare double crochet to allow space on the following Alpine row for an extra added post. So this way, yeah, you can just make it with really fine yarn and get a very fine texture if you understand how this pattern works. So then if you know how it works, you don't have to follow a pattern to get it right. So yeah, it's just learning the mechanics of it, and once you've got that down, you can make it in whatever way you like. The possibilities are truly endless. But yeah, shall we continue? So the next row, once again, we are doing a single crochet row. So this time around, I am going to single crochet 14 on this side, and then single crochet 3 in the middle, and then 13 on this side. So on this side it's always going to be an even number. On this side it's always going to be an odd number, with the only exception being the first single crochet row that we did in blue, in dark blue. So yeah, that's nice and simple. But yeah, so I just chained one. So I'm going to turn my work, and I am going to single crochet 14. Okay, so once again, I am not finishing this row with, I'm not finishing this stitch. I am just gonna chop it off right here. I am now done with green, and I am going to move on to yellow. Well, it seems that, oh, it did not give birth. Hooray. Yeah, I always call it, when it spews out lots of yarn in one go, I always say it's just given birth, because it does look like a tiny skein baby. But yeah, chain 2. Moving on. And now you're doing 7 sets of double crochets and then extended double crochets. So if you remember, in the last row we started with an EDC, and the row before that we started with a DC. So now once again we are starting this row with a DC, so it alternates. But then if you pay attention when we get here, it's going to be, the concept is going to be exactly the same as it was in both of the previous double crochet rows. So yeah, it's just, I mean, it's called a pattern for a reason. It quite literally repeats itself. But yeah, starting with a double crochet. So yeah, the first double crochet, it's a, and then because we started with a double crochet, this is the end of the set. We finished the set with an EDC. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sets. That's correct. And now we skip one because, well, that's what you do for an EDC, and then you double crochet 3 in the middle. Yeah, just make sure you don't split your yarn. I think I split my yarn somewhere along the way at the very beginning, and I saw it and it was bothering me, but I decided to do nothing about it because I believe it's hidden now. And that's what I thought was, yeah, that was my thought process. I thought, well, it's going to be hidden anyway, so what's the point of fixing it? But yeah, now on the other side we start with an EDC. We skip one stitch, then we put a double crochet. Then once again it's going to feel very, it's going to feel very wrong. It's not going to feel like you're doing this right, just because it's not, the post that you're going around is in the post directly underneath. But that's okay, that's all correct. It works itself out later on. Okay, so once again, I know I've done this correctly because I've got one stitch left at the end, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sets. So yes, we are so far so good. Everything's been done correctly. So I'm going to put this double crochet here, and I'm going to chain 1, turn my work, and then now single crochet 16, single crochet 3 in a single stitch, and then single crochet 15. Okay, so once again, cut the yarn off. We're done with this color. Moving on. So we've got next up. Oh, what's this loop doing over here? It's like whenever a little loop comes through, I always feel the urge to just keep pulling and this until that loop gets sorted, but I don't want to have far too much pulled out to a point where I have to struggle with it later. So I'm just gonna not satisfy my urge to do that and move on with this with this design. But yeah, not double, what am I saying? Chain 2. Chain 2 and turn your work is what I mean. So now again 8 sets. So with each row we started off with 5 sets, 6 sets, 7 sets, and now we're doing 8 sets, and then for the red we will be doing 9 sets. And yeah, so that is very nice and uniform, no little confusion there. So yeah, it's literally the same as all the other rows. This time, because we started with a double crochet last time, we are starting with an EDC. And we are skipping the first stitch, going into the second stitch. And yeah, do that 7 more times. Is it gonna happen? Is it? No! It gave birth. Well. It is what it is, isn't it? Right, this is the last stitch of the 8th set. So yeah, I double crochet 1 and then I chain 1 and then I turn my work, and then in the next row I do single crochet 18, then single crochet 3 in a single stitch, and then single crochet 17 and change color at the end. So, you know, here's what I was talking about earlier. I now have a struggle because I was trying to satisfy my urge to get rid of that one string. So now I've got all of this to deal with because I am done with this color. But you know, it be like that sometimes. Just shove it in there and put it aside and moving on to the next color. Okay, I've got our final color. Isn't this exciting? We're nearly done. I should show you what it looks like at this stage. But yeah, this is what it looks like so far. Very satisfying, I know. So, you know, change colors. And okay, so for the last row, what I do is, okay, so hold on. Chain 2. Let me start this row so that it's all secure and I can talk in peace. Okay, yeah. So because I started the last row with an EDC, I'm starting this row with a double crochet. But yeah, so what I was saying is that for the last row, I only do the double crochet row. I don't do the single crochet row. Of course, this is down to your own preference. But in here, for example, I did the single crochet row in white when I was assembling the thing. So if I had another single crochet row in red, it would just be, in my opinion, a little too wide for my liking. And I think personally, I just prefer how it looks like this, but of course, you do you. Do what you think looks best, and yeah, so I'm just saying that for this row, I will only be doing one row instead of 2 red rows. But yeah, everything's the same. I am doing 9 sets of DC1, EDC1. All the rules still apply, even though it's the last row, for me anyway, because if you're doing more colors, for example, you can continue on doing the same sequence, just increasing the numbers where the numbers are meant to increase. And yeah, or if you're doing it in finer yarn, you can do more rows in each color than I have done, because I've only done 2 rows in each color. But if you can of course do this with finer yarn and then do more rows of each color, and then the transition is just gonna be, because here the transition is very blended, while if you do more rows of a single color, it's gonna have less of that blending action. So, which isn't a bad thing, it's just a different look, which, you know, still gets the effect, still blends your colors nicely. So yeah, that's just a point I'm making about this pattern. But yeah, as I said at the beginning of this video, this pattern I will link below where you can purchase the written pattern, because it's not a pattern for the whole cup, for the whole top, it's only for the cups. So, you know, be aware that I'm not including anything else. It's just the pattern for the cup, which is, you know, the cool bit, the difficult bit. So yeah, I will also, if you stick around, I will also show you how to do the clouds, because I feel like clouds are pretty fitting with rainbows. And yeah, hold on, I have reached a point where I have to do things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 sets. That's perfect. So I skip 1 and I double crochet 3 into a single stitch. Oh. And then I EDC 1. Skip 1 and double crochet 1. Yeah, okay, so once again we have hit the counterintuitive bit, but it's fine, it's fine. It's turning out okay, that's how it's meant to go. But yeah, also what I wanted to mention is that, so this is my first YouTube video, and if you've stuck this far, I really appreciate it, thank you. And I would humbly like to say that I am planning to make more videos. I've been wanting to start a YouTube channel for a while now, and I have taken the biggest step, which is the first one. And if you'd like to support me in the future, or if you enjoyed this video and would like to see my designs that I do in the future, I would greatly appreciate if you would consider subscribing, because, you know, small channels, small creators in this world, you gotta be supporting the little guys. But you know, I hope that you are going to put this pattern to a good use, because I personally am very proud of it, and I think it's a very nice looking pattern, and I know that a lot of you will be able to utilize it well, especially now that the Pride Month has come around. So yeah, lots of events coming up. So yeah, I think it's gonna, yeah, I think this pattern has a lot of potential for not just rainbows, but also single colors and other colors, and you know, can be applied in many different ways, and that's how you know it's a good pattern. Not to kiss my own ass too much. Anyway, thanks for watching this far, and if you stick around, I will show you how to make some clouds. Or if you're not making any clouds, that's fine too. But yeah, finished. Chop it off. We're done with that color, which is the final color. Just pull through the yarn, and voila. So now you just got a million ends to weave in. What I did was I just tied them in a knot and then sewed them up. I don't know if you can, how well you can see that, but I've used some just fine sewing thread to sew them down. Which worked really well. It just made it look, because that's the bit that you're not going to see anyway. So, and then I used some matching blue thread from the ribbon to sew it on. And yeah, overall I would say, well, considering that I did this in a hurry because I was trying to get it ready for an event, I would say that this isn't too badly assembled top. I have a tendency to do the back really neatly as well, but this by my standards didn't meet those standards. But at the same time, now looking at it now, I think, nah, actually that's pretty neat. I am reasonably happy with how neat this is. And then you can see that I have just stitched on some clouds and done some edges with the little chain 3. I don't know, there's a name for this stitch, but I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. You know, this works really well as well. I don't know. It's just a really nice, very nice design. And also on the back, what I've done is I've done this zigzag edge, so it creates little roams on the back. It gives me a little bit of corset vibes when I put it on, just because it's made to fit my body exactly, and it fits me really well, to a point where I literally feel like I'm wearing a corset. I don't own any corsets, so I guess I don't know what wearing one actually feels like, but you know, I'm proud of this. It looks good. I'm happy with it, and now you can make your own. You just need 2 of these. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this one because I already have one of these tops. I guess I can make another one and give it as a present to someone, or I don't know. Maybe I can make a bikini, or maybe I can just undo it. I don't know. We shall see.